Ambition. Woohoo.
Hello.
Hello and good evening.
Do you know what I want to say today? I want to say episode 10 because we can't count.
That's true. Yeah, excuse the last one. We didn't have time to record it again, so we had to let it go.
And I feel like we didn't really realize till afterwards. You uploaded and then you were like, it's actually episode 9.
Never mind. Perfection is the enemy of progress.
It is. I feel like I need that as a slogan on a t-shirt.
I love that.
But yeah,
Oh,
hello. We're
yeah,
Ambition.
we are Ambition. Welcome back if you are still listening. Lovely to have you with us today.
How are you doing, Tiffany?
I'm well, Alex. Thank you so much. Have you been up to anything interesting this past week?
Well, I had a lovely time at the baby shower yesterday, possibly a bit too lovely a time. Yeah, I think had the latest night I've had in a very long time. Didn't come home till 1 a.m.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that. Love that for you, Alex. I thought it's about just once in a while, just been a little bit reckless. I was out Friday and Saturday, so that was new. Just been out it was a girls' night in on Friday, and I went out again with Alex at the baby shower on Saturday. That was interesting to have 2 nights in a row of doing something social without children.
Yeah.
Lovely. Loved it.
Yeah, it was really good. And I think it was just nice to have a margarita, enjoy some adult company. It was lovely. Yeah, really
enjoy your meal without someone grabbing it from your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
That was it for me. Like just an uninterrupted meal. It's rare.
I just have like a vision of Bella because I know exactly who you're talking about.
Not like I can't even begin to tell you. She will grab the food from your mouth, even if she's just had a meal. She wants everything that everyone's eaten. But anyway, this is children for you. So if you guys are still here, this is episode 10, and for this one, I want to keep it a little bit casual, a little bit personable, and really just discuss the wins of this. Coming this far, getting to episode 10, and why we've persisted, and the mindset has helped us to get to 10 right consistently.
Yeah, and I think we're aware it's a small win, and it's 10 episodes. But it is taking maybe it doesn't feel like a small win to us because it's taken some planning, some persistence, some keeping the kids busy, recording at odd hours, wearing pajamas, you name it, we've kind of done it really, haven't we? But I think celebrating small wins is the way forward. I think that actually the more you celebrate your successes and reward yourself for doing stuff, I think that helps with your mindset, doesn't it?
100%. It really does. When you don't see it as a small win, but see it as better than doing nothing. And it's just about, like I said, the strategies to keep on keeping on, right?
Yeah.
10 is the reflection of the moment when it didn't make sense to record is when the kids are like, busy with the kids. Oh, let's sleep here. I just want to sleep here. Trying to coordinate 3 young children, coordinate husbands. Cool. Yeah, just find time. And I think one thing I've learned from that is that when you decide to do something, you will do it if it's important enough. And I think that's the key thing, because otherwise there's been times when I thought, I don't have time for this, but because it's important to me, I make time for it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, we were just chatting before we started recording about, why is this important to us as well? And I think in kind of reflection for me, I think this is the kind of podcast I would have found really helpful when I was a new mum, when I was returning to work. And I found going back to work pretty hard. I was off 18 months due to like the complications that we had with Ted and his operation and stuff. It was really hard going back after 18 months of not being at work. And I think that this would have helped me to kind of find my place. And that's kind of what I want to put out there. I want to be the podcast I wanted to listen to. And yeah, couldn't really find because, I think there are so many podcasts about parenting, so many. And I'm never going to claim to be an expert in parenting. I feel like this podcast has that different slant to it of, how do you still meet your personal goals and your personal ambitions? It could be about work. It could be about anything that you want to do in your life, how do you do that and hack your life to be able to do those things? So yeah, that's why it's important to me.
I love that. Well, it's true. I think that's exactly what it is. When it's important, you make time for it. And I think even that this has been a good way also to understand that a lot of time we make excuses. Maybe it's just because a lot of things are not important to us. So that's an analysis I'm always having within myself. Like, if something is very important to me, I'm going to do it, regardless of, you don't make excuses, right? You find a way to do things. And so this is just a right step in the right direction. And who knows what this will mean for us, right? In terms of the next step or the bigger picture of life. And it's just encouraging to be consistent, despite, times when it feels as if it's impossible to do this.
Yeah, I mean, for a while we were thinking like, let's get glammed up and put these out there on YouTube, weren't we? But we haven't. That's one thing we haven't consistently been able to do, like to get glammed up and be kind of YouTube ready, because we've managed to be consistent. We've managed to record, but like at some point, I am currently wearing pajamas because of last night's late night.
Yeah, it's true. But I think it's just, maybe in the next 5 to 10 episodes, we can hack that next step of being ready, camera ready. But yeah,
you look pretty camera ready today, Tiffany. To be
fair, it's church. Listen, on Sundays, I'm always like this on Sundays, but I won't look like this on a Saturday. Okay. So yeah, it's a church thing.
Okay, fair enough.
But no, it's just, and I think I just want to encourage everyone out there, whoever's listening to this, if there's something you want to do, like, we understand it is hard, like, to find time. It's very hard to find time sometimes. It's very hard to prioritize your goals and dreams. And again, I'm always cautious about giving advice, but I just hope this inspires someone to say, look, if there's 2 random, crazy, quirky, interesting, fabulous women from Northeast can start a podcast, and maybe I can do that one thing in my life that's important to me and I keep thinking about, and it's at the back of my mind, but I feel like I don't have time or I'm not enough to do it, that sort of thing.
I think there's sometimes like that I don't have time is about like fear of failure, isn't it? It's like, if you don't start, you can always imagine the perfect novel that you'll write in your mind, but like when you get round to it, and I think, if you actually do it, it could be terrible, but it could be amazing. And I think it's that fear of failure that like stops people from starting. So you have to just think, it could be crap, doesn't matter, like, it's fine.
I love that.
But if it's that thing of like, you miss 100% of the chances you don't take. And I like fully feel that and agree with that.
I love that. And I think that's one thing I really admire about you, Alex. And I think I meet a lot of people, but it's not everyone I want to start a podcast with, and it's not everyone that I like their mindset. Because I think this whole like self-development, self-improvement, like you said, a lot of times is looked down on because people think, why you think you can be better. But I admire that about you, because I can see that in you, that kind of, I don't know how to explain, it's quite elusive, isn't it? Do you see what I mean? I admire that.
I can definitely see that in you as well, Tiffany. And again, I think it's why we've ended up coming together to do this, because I like the whole concept of like self-improvement and wanting to see that there's more to life as well. You don't have to, what you are now does not have to be what you are in the future. You can, I think, reading about people. So I was reading about the actor Eddie Marsan. Do you know who I mean? He's like a London actor who's, don't want to say, he's not classically good looking. He's like a older.
Sorry, Eddie Marsan and his family. Joking.
No, I mean, he basically said, like, in the interview, I think it was in The Guardian today, basically he said, if you were playing a computer game, you wouldn't pick my avatar. And I think he's like a bit of a character actor kind of thing. But he was basically saying he came from a very working class background, but he just loves what he does. And he didn't let the fact that he wasn't a leading man get in the way of him wanting to be an actor. I'm like, that's
so having
really,
like a growth mindset.
Yeah. So like he just followed his dream, even though it was probably quite unlikely that he was going to get anywhere, but now is really in demand actor. You'll know it. You definitely
Okay, I
know
probably know
him.
his face. I'm bad
Yeah.
with names, but Mark, I'm sure Mark. Oh yeah, this guy. No,
Yeah.
never mind. That's interesting. I like that a lot. That makes me think of two things. I did read Grit. I think it's called Grit by. Is it Grit? Carol Dweck. I think that's where it comes
Okay.
from. The idea of a growth mindset. So some people in life have like a fixed mindset, or some people have a growth mindset.
Hmm.
The fixed mindset, you believe that your who you are or what potential is limited or fixed, or it can't be changed. With a growth mindset, you believe that with the right word, with the right attitude, with the right changes, you can become and grow and evolve. And I've
Hmm.
always think that's a good thing to have. And the second thing I was thinking of is there's a picture somewhere. It's like a well-known picture of a man that's digging for some. I don't know if he's digging for a diamond or something, and he's like he could have stopped. Well, there's two. I think there's two versions of it. One where it stops, but it was just like a couple of feet away from the treasure.
Hmm.
So that always makes me think about the idea of keep going because you never know.
Yeah.
And I know it's again whatever, but I think it's important to have that sort of mindset because sometimes it's like what are we trying to achieve in life? I mean, what are we aiming for? But at the same time, I just think just keep going and
Hmm.
improving, and you don't always have to have a set goals, or because some people always think I don't know what to be or what to become, but just do something that makes you
Hmm.
better and just keep going even if you
Yeah.
don't have clarity on the end goal.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. I think the whole idea, I do think that some people I find it a bit like woo about like
Yes.
the whole concept of self-improvement and stuff
Development,
like
yeah.
that. And I get it. I think it is very easy to be like feel a bit off put by it. But
Fair
I
enough.
think once you get into it, for me, I find that it pushes me forward listening to stuff like that. I think or reading that kind of book, it makes me really interested in how I can kind of improve my life. And I think one of those that Atomic Habits, I bet you've read that.
Yes.
That's really good. And I love that idea that you build like tiny little habits that take like have a cumulative impact. And I really like that because it is really easy to be like, okay, I am absolutely definitely going to floss every day. And it just becomes part of your routine. You just decide you're going to do it and you make the point of it for like 2 weeks or so. And then you're just doing it as though it's fine, easy.
Mm,
And like just really little things like that you just
nothing.
decide you're going to build in. And yet then you just don't even end up noticing them.
This is it. I think also like making that thing easier to do than not easy to do.
Mm.
That's a good hack. Like a lot of people who want to go running, they're always told leave the trainers by your bed. So that
Hmm.
it's not a case of I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna look for my trainer, and then before you look for this is it. Like another thing, for example, this past 6 months and year, I made a decision to look after my hair a bit more and leaving my I know it sounds really random, but leaving my oils, like my oils next to my table
Hmm.
has encouraged me to put more oil in my hair just because
Is that just because you can see it there?
yeah, because it's
Yeah.
there. So I don't have to like it's just something like, oh, it's there. Oh, let me just put it in
Hmm.
my hair. Do you know what I mean? So rather than have to go look for it, and I forget. And again, it's just the small tweaks you can make that makes a habit more likely, right? Than not
Yeah.
likely, or makes it harder to do something. So
Yeah.
that's a really good hack.
I'm fully on board with that. So I was saying before we started recording, I think I've mentioned ADHD in every episode of the podcast so far, but that can make me a bit like chaotic and all over the place. And managing it takes quite a bit of effort. But I found that the best thing I can do is put in lots of little hacks in place to kind of either keep me on task. So, like, I set lots of reminders for myself. I have a big to-do list that kind of manages what I need to do, and put it's a digital to-do list, and it's literally one of the only things that keeps me organized and keeps me remembering the things I need to do as well. But I do loads of stuff like that with I pick out my clothes the night before so that in the morning it's not like a crazy rush. I like literally I stand in the bedroom and I say, Alexa, what's the weather? Alexa tells me what the weather's going to be the next day. And then I pick something out that's like weather appropriate. and I literally leave it hanging on the outside of my wardrobe. And that means in the morning when I'm getting Ted ready to leave the house, etc., I don't have to think about that. For some reason, it's easier the night before because there's not a time pressure on it. And yeah, I think doing lots of little things like that have helped me to manage that. So like one thing I used to find really difficult was like keeping on top of mopping the floor in the kitchen, mopping the floor in the bathroom. And I literally just bought another mop and bucket for the bathroom cupboard. So we have two, one for there and one for downstairs. Before I'd have just changed mop heads, but like the barrier was having to go downstairs, get it all out, carry it upstairs.
I love that.
And you know, Eddie was like, I can't believe you're buying another one. Like, why are you doing that? And I was like, I literally bought one that screws apart. So it's like a short mop that doesn't take up loads of space. And I tell you what, it's made a huge difference to how frequently I mop the bathroom because it's just removed that friction, that like extra step. Yeah, and loads of little things like that. I've got like nail clippers and like wherever I sit, like there's nail clippers in the drawer in this room. There's nail clippers in the thing next to my bed. And like, I know that sounds a bit crazy to have duplicates of things, but if I feel a nail that's like rough, I need to deal with it immediately. So then I'd like get off task. I'd go running off to find nail clippers somewhere else. So instead of that, I've just got them where I can use them immediately, put them back, get on with what I'm doing. So for me, I found that it's probably maybe a bit more of something like that would help people with ADHD, but that duplication of stuff for it to be where I need it so I don't have to go and get it from somewhere else has made a really big difference too.
I love that. So just time and the energy as well. I mean, you know, spent on something like that.
Yeah.
Making your life easier. Wow, I love that. And I suppose in a similar way, I often think about, because obviously I often think about the building blocks, right, of things that have made us this people that we are today, that want to start a podcast and do this thing. So I'd love to kind of get your take as well on the things that you might have done even before becoming a mum that has built up to this person who is confident. Because I think one thing for me was I did a lot of traveling. I did a lot of like meditating, journaling. Like prior to having kids, I spent a lot of time on my own. So I did a lot of solitude, just lovely silence. Time alone. I used to go to the gym. I used to do a lot of journaling. I used to have meditation. I used to do affirmation. So now at this stage of my life, I feel quite confident in myself, and this is why again I'm more confident in chasing my goals, chasing my dreams, and being unapologetic, simply because I do feel that when I was a single person, I enjoyed that time and I did a lot of things that filled my cup up to now at this point where, you know, I'm literally, my cup needs, it's pouring out to the kids. That's what I often say, it's like a cup. Like my cup is half full right now because I'm pouring it out for other people. I'm looking after this person, that person.
It's half full and it's gone cold.
Yeah, exactly. But that's because I feel like I've done a lot of things for myself. So now I don't feel like I'm missing out. If I don't go out for the next year, I actually will be okay in my house. I'm happy with the kids because I've done a lot. And I often think about that as why I'm quite happy in this phase of life where it's a little bit different. It needs you a bit more. It's, you know, it's taken from you. I don't know, like I almost feel like I'm now withdrawing from that deposits I've made over the last like years of my life. What do you think about that sort of perspective on that as well?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I feel like I wasted a lot of time as well.
Oh, definitely.
I feel like I could have done more with that time. But yeah, I didn't have a child until I was like a month away from being 38. So like I had plenty of life and plenty of time before I settled into this kind of life. And I definitely feel like that has made me a lot more patient. I feel like I, enjoyed going out with my friends all the time. We had this big period of like weddings and, going abroad to people's weddings and things like that, that I would struggle to do now. And like, I struggled to come to your wedding because Ted was waiting for his operation. Like I wasn't able to come because we were waiting for that. But there was always one more party, one more wedding, one more thing we wanted to do before kids. Like you, I mean, I have traveled quite a bit with work, been to some interesting places. There, you know, you get, when you do travel with work, you get a night in a hotel, you get to chill out, like, you know, drinks after work with people, but the silence as well of like a lovely relaxing night watching. Like, I love to go to the cinema. I went to the cinema all the time, and I recently went to see June Part 2, and that was the first time I'd been to the cinema since 2019.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, definitely I feel like that kind of life did shape me into quite a not self-satisfied, definitely not self-satisfied,
but I know what you mean,
self-reliant person. Like, I'm comfortable in my own company. Like, there's nothing I like better than going to the cinema by myself. Sorry, Eddie. I once went to see the film Parasite with a massive platter of sushi just by myself, and it was like being on a date but alone, and it was amazing. Like, I recommend it. Or like, you know, in business travel, go to the restaurant by myself, which I know people feel weird about going and eating at a restaurant by themselves, like people are looking at them, but I'd be like, this is amazing. I'm just going to order what I want. I'm going to take my time.
Look at
have a
people
glass
watch,
of wine.
people watching, and love
People
that.
Yeah,
people watching.
And like when I was 19, 19 or 20, can't remember. When I was at uni anyway, I did a year abroad in Barcelona, which that was amazing. Spending a big period of time, like not just being somewhere else, but like living somewhere else and getting to really experience that. You know, my language is pretty rusty now. I still try and practice it, but like that learning of the language, like, yeah, just feel like you had so much time that maybe you didn't use correctly back then. But I feel like all those different experiences shaped me in a way that has made me quite a calm parent, but has made me like trying different things and made me do.
And understanding that your life doesn't end with being a mom. Almost like that. Yes, this is it. I think that's what it is, isn't it? It's like, I'm a mom now, but that's okay. It's great, but I'm still here. I still have goals and dreams, and I'm going to make those happen. That's what it is, isn't it? It's that evolution of being after being a mom. Not like, oh, I'm a mom now. Okay, it's not, you know, this is it.
I mean, I definitely feel like I had a big period of finding myself again after Ted. Like, it was just like, I thought, because for a couple of years, all I did was because he wouldn't sleep in a cot. Such a lie that like babies will sleep in a cot. Like, some of them just really hate it. He would not have it. So he slept in the little next to me, fine. Like the little beside the bed cot thing. As soon as he was being transferred to what he like topped out the weight that you could be in that, and we tried moving him to a normal cot. Would he sleep in it? Absolutely not. So basically he went to sleep in our bed, and I went to bed with him at like whatever time he went to bed, because I like obviously didn't want to leave him on a bed by himself. So I used to just sit in the dark for a year and watch, maybe nearly 2 years, and watch stuff on Netflix on my phone in the dark with headphones in, which sounds like dark and depressing, but I actually quite enjoyed it. I would go to sleep early as well because I would be up a lot in the night. But because of that, I think it took me a long time, or comparatively a long time, to get back into feeling myself. Like, for 2 years, I just left the house in whatever clothes I found, like no thought whether they went together, probably hadn't brushed my hair, like just really didn't care about my appearance for a good 2 years. And I've slowly started getting back into like, I can be quite an out there, colourfully patterned, clothed person, but for 2 years I just didn't care about it at all. Took me a long time to like get back into myself and care about any of that again.
Wow.
And I feel like I don't want to skip over that and be like, oh, this is how to be ambitious, because I think it's okay if you have just had a baby as well to take time to like discover what's important to you, because your priorities will have changed. And I think taking that time and learning about it helps you then get back into that ambitious mindset, and prioritize the things that are important to you, because you've done a bit of reflection, but don't feel the pressure to have to do it immediately.
Love that. It's true, isn't it? And it's understanding that everything's a chapter, right? And that what is it? There's a quote, I can't remember, something about it will pass. This too shall pass. Everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, every stage will pass. They're a baby and then they're a toddler and then they'll go to school and then make friends and then, you know, you sort of take a back seat in their life because their friends come to the forefront of that. So it's just, and I think once you understand that as well, and I think this leads to another thing that I love doing, which is spending time with really old women. I absolutely love it. I think
tell us more.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really weird, but I find that, especially in the Northeast, because we just live around a lot of old people. I've never seen this many old people as I do now in the Northeast than I did in London. But that's because I didn't go. It's so random.
You probably live in a very different lifestyle in London.
Very different. So I don't know. It's like, mother-in-law Nana, and then meeting her friends. I mean, I used to go for coffee with all her friends right up until, I sort of started working like ESC hours, and I remember she has a neighbor as well. But I just love older women, and when I'm in the park, when I'm at the library with the kids, I always look out for old women, especially when they have their grandchildren, just because I get a lot of perspective from them. I find that in conversations with every old woman I speak to, they always say something like, "Oh, the bairns will grow up so quickly." They always say that, and for me, it's listening to them and almost trying to gain a perspective of how I can parent now with the consciousness of an old person. And I know that sounds really intense, but like that's how I am. It's like, what lessons do I need to apply now? Not necessarily before it's too late, but when I'm 60, 70, I'm not going to think about the detail around, oh, that day I didn't read to them. I will think about the bigger picture of maybe being more patient, maybe being more understanding. Maybe I was able to enjoy the journey with them, that sort of thing. So for me, it's spending time with women like that. They always say things like, oh, when I was a mom, they always say things like, oh, I've got the grandchildren, grandburns now. And, they always say things like, oh, I wish I was more patient. They always say these things. And I always bank it and I always keep it like, oh, I need to think like that. Because if I can think as an older person now, then I won't sweat the small stuff. I won't overthink things. Do you see what I mean? I do a lot of that
it's about not letting yourself kind of seeing your own future to not have regrets is kind of what I'm taking from that.
Yeah, exactly that. I see my future in being old, and because when you're on a day-to-day basis, you're too busy, you're too like, oh, I've got ambitious, I'm so ambitious. But on your deathbed, you probably won't care about a lot of the money you made. You will think about the relationships, especially with your children. Now, they love and you loved, you loved each other. So I get a lot of that from old people, and I think it's so useful. I personally do.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I think just they've got the benefit of hindsight. And I think that's what you're tapping into there. They know the mistakes they've made. And I think it's not like we'll make no mistakes, but I guess it helps you to define what's important. And like you say, it's the relationships with your children. It's like them having a nice childhood.
This is it. And in moments where, for example, today my son just wants to be outside. We were like washing the pushchair, and he wants to stay outside. And there's a part of me that's like, no, it's organized. Like, no, we need to have lunch first, and we must come in. But then he's like, no, I want to be outside. But then I thought, why would I drag him in crying and screaming when all he wants to do is just be outside on a nice day? And then I think about that old person in me that will think, just let him be outside. He's a young child. And I made that decision as the old person rather than me in the moment that wants us to have lunch right now.
Yeah. Like stop what you're doing and like letting them kind of have a bit of space to, the one thing I have to stop myself doing with Ted is trying to make him complete something properly, like show him how to do it rather than giving him the space to kind of explore it himself. And that's one thing I'm really trying to stop him, like stop myself from doing. So like we bought him a spirograph, like a little travel spirograph after playing with one at our top fan Catherine's house recently, and
Your top fan.
name
Shout out
check,
to Catherine.
Catherine.
Oh,
Yeah, she had lovely things to say. We love you, Catherine. She had lovely things to say about our podcast yesterday. But anyway, so I just wanted to take it off him and show him how to do it properly instead of letting him do it.
Oh.
And like, I think that's something that I was like, just be patient with him. Just let him do it. It doesn't matter if he ruins this bit of the individual post-it note bit of paper and doesn't do it right. Like, he will get there by doing it himself. And like, the lesson for me is let them make, obviously don't let them face plant onto some concrete or whatever, but let them make some of their own mistakes. Don't try and protect them from all of those little mistakes, because that is where you learn. Like, by him not doing it properly, he's actually getting the motor skills and learning how to do it right. Like, I'm taking something away from him by stopping him from just making a mess of it. Doesn't matter. Like, so that's definitely one thing I've used, a similar bit of perspective of like, why are you trying to control how he does this? Just let him do it. Like, obviously that's not how you as an adult would do it, but he's 3. Let him play with it. And if he makes a mess of it or just scribbles on the paper, fine. It's fine.
I love that. I don't know how long we've been on now, but I think we've it's been a good chat, just understanding, what episodes 10 means to us. To you guys, it's just 10, but to us, it's countless hours of
thinking about it. What are we going to talk about?
And coming together and doing it and leaving the kids aside and finding the time and just pushing forward despite everything around us, just because it's important.
Yeah. And I think we're quite lucky in that we're both being supported to do this. Like, I'm guessing your kids are with Mark and my little boy is with Eddie at the moment. So after we were a bit not down on the men last time, but it's nice that we're being supported to do it. And you do need to rely on that support from people around you to do the things that are important to you as well. So I'm shouting out to them this time, because Eddie said to me, "You don't slag me and Mark off on the podcast, do you?" And I was like, "No, definitely not. Please don't listen to last week's."
But it's true. It's, no, you're right. It's, again, it's just getting the help, using the help, and can't do it by yourself. But yeah, just live your life, and life doesn't end because you're a mom. A lot of things will have to be, a lot of things will change. Like, there's no, we won't get into what will change, but a lot will change. I've accepted that. And life is different and you have less time. But you just have to enjoy it, enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, enjoy this chapter, because again, it will pass, they will grow and move on and do other things. So you only really have them independently in that way for a limited amount of time. I do think that.
Oh, definitely.
Become independent.
And I definitely think that with having a boy as well, I think, like, he is going to not want to be cuddled to the extent I cuddle him at the moment as he gets older. And not just because he's a boy, I think just, societal expectations and stuff like that. And like, and I think that, like, you can have a more friend relationship with a girl, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I've just made that up. But I think that you're right. Enjoy the moment. Spend the time with them now. But you can still push what you want to do forward. And like, I think, just to reiterate, celebrate the small wins. To you, they're not small. This is just episode 10 to you. It's episode 10 to us.
Yes, this is it. Yes, episode 10. Thank you, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.